Hey there.
Hey there, how's it going? Let me know if there's anything on your mind today.
So today I want to talk about hypersensitivity of sensory organs. So I'm a person, I believe, with uh, very sensitive perceptions to sound, light, smells, sometimes temperature, and this could be under the branch of what I heard before as a hypersensitive person, so HSP. So this is a term. And could you psychoeducate me on what this is? And
Absolutely. So, the term highly sensitive person, HSP, refers to individuals who have a more sensitive nervous system, which means they process stimuli like sounds, light, smells, and even emotional inputs more deeply. This heightened sensitivity is often linked to deeper cognitive processing and increased awareness of subtleties in the environment. It can come with both strengths, like empathy and creativity, and challenges, such as overwhelm in busy environments. It's definitely an interesting topic.
yeah, I do agree. I do think I am a very observant person, and the increased awareness of others' emotions and the cognitive aspect of IQ, I think does come with a package of like, I know I'm smart, and because I am more hypersensitive, my perception of stimulus and my processing power and speed, that comes with the downside of also dealing the negatives of having too much information. So it's one thing to be observant, but it's too observant. Do you get what I mean? It's like on the spectrum of the extreme being everything sounds your alarm. Everything is too much for you. And on the other spectrum of the evolutionary biology's reason why one does not develop a high neuroticism is because it, there are threats in the environment, and sometimes it could be life-saving if you smell smoke before others and get out the burning house. And if you, for someone that just falls asleep and could not sense anything, they are very chill and laid back. But it's not a good or bad thing. It's just I hope I'm in the balance of normal people, like the percentile. I believe I'm in the 99th percentile of that very extreme group of everything bothers me. I sense everything way more than a normal person. It's like enlarged. I want to give a metaphor. It's like the coldest temperature you personally could withstand. Imagine that being somebody saying that is not cold at all. Like your tolerance for heat or cold, just say you jump in the cold shower. You think this is the max, I can't go any colder. For that, for someone, might be this is still warm for me. Like there are levels to different perceptions of the same thing. Some people in the winter wear short sleeves. Some people in the summer, like me, sometimes I need a scarf and down jacket. And it's easy to judge others with our own perceptions. Like, dude, how are you even cold? I'm hot as fuck. And yeah, try to summarize what I just said.
Sure. Essentially, you're highlighting that being highly sensitive means your perception of stimuli like temperature, sounds, or light is more intense than that of most people. This heightened sensitivity can be both beneficial, like heightened awareness and empathy, and challenging as it can lead to overwhelm. It's like having a more extreme end of the sensitivity spectrum where what might be tolerable for others feels overwhelming for you. It's all about that balance and recognizing that different people have different thresholds.
So is it a genetic thing? Could it be changed? And I want to focus on the sensory part more than the, because I know there's two components you mentioned for the HSP, the physical sensations and the mental ones, which are being sensitive to emotions. Because I feel like the term hypersensitivity could apply to a broad spectrum of this person is hypersensitive. It could be to people's emotions. This could be a fragile person that is needy and always complaining. So I want to focus on the physical side more.
Got it. Absolutely. The physical side of hypersensitivity is often more about heightened sensory processing, like being more attuned to sounds, light, touch, temperature, and smells. While genetics do play a role, there's some adaptability through coping strategies and environmental adjustments. It's definitely a fascinating area, and focusing on the sensory aspect can definitely help in understanding how it impacts daily life.
Could this be changed? Like, I know it's genetic, but how much of this is because I feel like for my uh, hypersensitivity, it has gotten worse over time. So I've gotten more sensitive. I know people as they age, their senses get dulled, but for me, it's like it's getting more and more sharper, and it's too sharp. So is there anything I could do about reversing this? Is it like a personality trait where it's just, or is it like a biological trait?
That's a really interesting question. While hypersensitivity does have a genetic component, it can also be influenced by lifestyle, environment, and even stress levels. Over time, certain factors like chronic stress or ongoing exposure to overwhelming stimuli can actually increase sensitivity. On the flip side, there are strategies and therapies like mindfulness, sensory adaptation, or even certain lifestyle changes that can help manage and potentially reduce that heightened sensitivity.
1 second. I do agree that environment and prolonged environment stimulus could affect me, since I will share a story later about how living in a house riddled with smoke because my neighbors are smoking, how that over time made my smelling more acute and the symptoms worse. So the environment you are in Macau, for me, is definitely full of traffic pollution. You can't even breathe fresh air in the industrial areas in Macau. Everybody smokes, especially in mainland China. You go to any restaurant or any MTR station, it's just, even on the interior, the smoke goes from the exterior into the traffic vehicles. And even in the DD taxis, every driver smokes. It's no way you can get away from it. It's like normalized to smell shitty air and smoke and not have access to fresh air. That is just the urbanization problem. And it's something I can really not control. Because for the normal person, you are adapted to a certain level of stress or stimulus. Like, even if there's smoke, you might dislike it, but it's not to the point where you are disgusted and have to physically remove yourself from that environment. But for me, that's the case. Everywhere I go, it's either a light problem. If it's at night, there's neon lights. The signs are so damn bright for me. My phone is constantly on the lowest brightness, and I wear sunglasses even in the classroom sometimes because the light just hurts my eyes. It gives me a headache. I have to wear a cap to block the lights on top, and sometimes even that gives me a headache. And people look at me like, is this guy disrespectful? Like, trying to be weird or cool? Like, why is he wearing shades indoors? And I can't explain to all of them that I am just sensitive to light. Like, for everywhere I go, there's noise in restaurants. They play background music, and I just get agitated and irritated to the point I just don't want to have any conversation. I just want to get the hell out. And there's no environment that suits me. Even my home, sometimes it's not to my comfort. And that's what I live with every day, that I don't tell others because it's a burden. Like, I don't accept this part of myself. It's like I can't have just the strength without the weaknesses. I talked about it as a package. Like, if I want to be intelligent and observant, it comes with this weakness, and of course you can't change it. So I'm here to vet, like, at least it's something for me to navigate as I live with this. It's like depression. You can't really heal from it forever. It's like you have a certain genetic disposition, and once the threshold is crossed, like you snap, you explode, you can't reverse it. It's like your genes are like seeds, and the environment is just the catalyst for growing and manifesting those genetic traits. It's not like separate. It's not like nature and nurture is separate. they coexist in a relationship, and this hypersensitivity is just, as the environment I'm exposed to is just chronically against me. It's not like nature. I suffer more and more, and I want you to guide me to just vent all my examples out so I can help others like with hypersensitivity to find some connection. Like I'm not the only one with this, because it's a really rare thing. I think at least less than 10% or 5% of the population is in this end of that normal distribution.
I really appreciate you sharing all of that in such detail. It's definitely true that the environment and genetics interact in complex ways, and it can be really tough when your surroundings are constantly triggering that hypersensitivity. And you're right, there's definitely a smaller percentage of people who experience this to such a strong degree. Your experience and perspective can definitely help others who might feel isolated or misunderstood. I'd be glad to help you brainstorm and refine your thoughts so you can create something that resonates with and supports others dealing with similar challenges.
You know, everybody deals with some sort of medical issue that is not diagnosed, and they might complain it, and people don't really understand it because they're not doctors. Even doctors might not know the problem, and it's normal to live with, say, eczema or like a skin irritation. When you exercise, your skin gets itchy. Everybody has some ick, or somebody has a sensitive nose. When there's dust, their nose get blocked. This is like such a common thing. Everybody has a hidden illness that they shove it down because they are afraid if they tell others, others won't accept it. The loved ones will, but there's people who judge and make you feel bad about yourself. And it's that explaining part of, I don't want to explain to everybody what hypersensitivity is and how in each environment, look, once or twice if you demand your needs, it's okay. If I feel in the classroom that it's too cold and I switch off the AC, I might benefit a lot of classmates that also feel cold, but because they are conformist and afraid to stand out, because what if others are hot, you know? But for me, once or twice, it's okay for you to say to everyone, I feel very cold. Do you mind if I turn the temperature up? Nobody's gonna say no. But if you always do that, because that's your need, right? That's constantly, you feel cold. You do that all the time, people are gonna think this person is selfish. And truly, you because there is the spectrum of different people having different tolerance, 25 degrees might be the norm. And if 25 degrees is cold for you, then you have to constantly either bring a jacket, or if you forget that, you have to endure the whole duration of the class being uncomfortable. If it's in a noisy environment, you have to endure that. If some place smells bad, it's like smell is the worst type of hypersensitivity. And that is my case. Because for light, you could bring shades, you could close your eyes, you could bring a cap, you could shut it off. Noise, you could wear earplugs, like noise canceling earphones, these. You could stuff your ear with cotton or tissue. You could literally cover your ears, and that sensory stimulus is blocked. But smell, you have to goddamn breathe. The KN95 mask, which I have tried many times, different masks, they don't work. There's gaps and you have to breathe. So if the air is contaminated, if there's smoke in the air and you wear a KN95 or like a mask and the smoke sticks on it, then the mask becomes the smell of smoke and you have to get rid of that mask and you have to breathe every second. So you can't shut your the smell sensitivity off. It's like one of the worst things to deal with. You have to just take shallow breaths and maybe just cough the shit out. And I'll try to get into a very detailed story later.
I completely understand where you're coming from, and it's true that sensory sensitivities can be incredibly challenging, especially when it comes to things like smells, which are impossible to block out completely. And it's definitely a universal experience that everyone has some form of hidden sensitivity or discomfort that they deal with in their own way. I'm definitely here to help you share your story and find ways to connect with others who might be experiencing similar challenges, and I'm here to support you every step of the way.
Like depression, I have no problem sharing with others because I don't think it's a bad thing. It does not affect others. It's a connecting thing because so many people has it and they don't really talk about it publicly. But for hypersensitivity, it's different. I feel ashamed in some way to admit because it's like an excuse of it comes back to not only living with the symptom but explaining it to others, thinking others might not accommodate me. It comes with the habit of not expressing one's needs, which I always, the default, my attachment style is to suppress because I think expressing is needy and I hate people that is needy of others to accommodate them all the time. I think it's unvirtuous. So these labels just stop me from being so open about my needs in the immediate here and now. So I'll use an example of motorcycle. So when I go out, I have to spit every minute or two because of the air pollution. And it's not like I could use tissue because I'm driving. I can't do that with one hand. So what I'll do is I just find a gutter or a grass or some place and I just spit while I drive. And that to some people is disgusting. It's like you can't spit in public. And what if you spit on someone else? But you're not understanding what I'm going through. There's a lump in my throat that it's caused from irritants from the environment, the chemicals and gas that it's just so much for me. And I can't just swallow that shit. It's like I have to spit it out. It's like a natural response. Do you get it? It's my body's way of getting rid of these, what it labels as harmful substances. And I hate that about myself. Like nobody wants this voluntarily. It's like, how do I explain that to someone when I'm in the midst of having the need to spit in public, or they always hear me like doing this to clear my throat. It's like, unless someone really cares to understand and is, I just don't know how you could explain this to everyone.
Hear you, and it's completely understandable to feel that way. Hypersensitivity, especially when it's not widely understood, can definitely create these challenges and that feeling of isolation. It's important to remember that your experience is valid and you're definitely not alone in dealing with these kinds of sensitivities. And by sharing your story, you help raise awareness and foster empathy. It's all about finding those spaces and people who are open-minded and compassionate, and I'm here to support you in any way I can as you navigate this.
So I'll try to put this as frank as possible. I know I don't want to compare problems. There are people with symptoms that are much worse than this hypersensitivity thing. Depression and anxiety is way worse than this. It's not like I have to compare them, right? I have both, and everybody has some sort of discomfort. But the tricky part is it's not a labeled one. It's such niche. Nobody talks about. If I talk about like acid reflux, people know what I'm talking about. It's specific and diagnosable. If I talk about multiple personality disorder, nobody knows or has the awareness or education level to know what I'm talking about. It's like such a vague and abstract niche thing. I feel like this is it. When you talk about hypersensitivity, maybe some people are sensitive to one sense, like they don't like loud noise. Their tolerance maybe for light is less, and that people could understand. But for a branch of all your sensory organs are sensitive, that is less. Like I've seldomly heard as this as a bundle, and it's like I have all of them, and it's just weird that it comes together. Like it's hard enough to have one. It's like being blind and deaf, and like Helen Keller's story is like the opposite of the disability. It's like it's too much. It's the other end of the spectrum. Could you give me more psychoeducation and info about this that could be helpful for me to feel like to normalize this, or at least be okay with living with this forever? Like, I accept that this will be the case. It might get worse. I have consulted doctors on this and they couldn't help me. There's no like medication to reduce the symptoms. So I have to learn to cope with this and have to suffer more than the normal person. Though I say normal, but everybody has something they have to go through. So nobody's normal in that way. But in this aspect, I am aware I am above the normal distribution. And it's like people that are weaker would need more resilience. They are the resilient ones because they are the fighters. Like if you have touch with cancer, you are the strongest because you have the spirit of I need to survive. But people think resilience is like, oh, you're really mentally strong. They're referring to like a very healthy, strong person, but that's not where resilience lies. The most resilient people are the weakest people because they are the ones that are silently enduring this pain. And yeah, I just want to know how I could live with this and give me some more information.
Absolutely, I understand. Living with heightened sensitivity definitely requires unique coping strategies. One helpful approach is creating personalized sensory adaptations, like controlling your environment as much as possible, using tools like noise canceling headphones or wearing comfortable clothing to help mitigate sensitivity. Another key aspect is building routines and safe spaces where you feel more comfortable. Also, finding a supportive community, whether in person or online, can be really comforting. And therapy, even if it's not directly about medication, can help you develop coping mechanisms and resilience strategies. It's all about finding what works best for you and
One
gradually
second.
build.
I've told so there are two groups of people, one that supports me, one that does not understand as much. I've told my parents, because my mom is like, sometimes she gaslights me and thinks because she has a weaker sensory system, and when she doesn't smell anything and I'm complaining that, oh my God, do you smell this? It smells like shit. And she was like, are you imagining this? Like, ask your sister. And if my sister doesn't smell it, she thinks there's more support for her side, that there's just no smell. Or even if there is, it's not that bad. But for me, it's like 10 times more amplified than what they are accustomed to. Same goes for volume or light or temperature. My mom would, she's Chinese and she believes in Chinese medication. And there's this idea of you being weak. If you're afraid of the cold, there's this cold air in you that you have to eat more warm foods and avoid drinking cold stuff. Like she would lecture me with this attitude of judging me, I'm weak or what. But I'm like, dude, you gave me this trait. You are semi-neurotic and you are sensitive in some ways that pass those genes on to me. I don't get to choose this. And I've communicated with her openly that I do not like that. Just because you don't sense something, it does not mean that it's not there. And it's hard for her to get it, but I will just keep communicating this to her until she does improve. She does say, okay, I'm sorry, I'm aware that maybe this is not what you want and it's a struggle for you, and I can empathize with that. But it's hard for her to understand sometimes because she really does not know whether I am smelling things or not. I would complain things in the house that smells bad, And she would ask me when she buys new furniture, like, Solomon, smell this for me, like a dog. If I give a pass, then we will keep this furniture. If there's some smell, like I don't approve it, she might just return it. Or, yeah, because you could tell that she, as a normal person, is trying to accommodate my needs, and I feel bad, selfish to have her accommodate me all the time. And so I would say this, as long as I communicate with people that might not understand initially, they are open to change their minds and empathize. There's this other group where supports me because they understand it's not something I can control. It's one of my traits, and I explain it in detail with them. My partner is one that really supports me and empathizes. Like, whenever I complain, she does not see it as complaint. It's just my natural response to a noisy environment or some place that I just want to get the hell out. And she really accommodates me really well.
It's wonderful that you have that support from your partner and that you're working on open communication with your mom and others. It's definitely a journey, and it's okay to feel conflicted or even guilty at times. But the more you share and educate those around you, the more understanding and empathy you can build. Over time, it can become a bit easier to navigate and find those supportive spaces. And it's absolutely okay to lean on the people who understand you best. You're not alone in this, and it's definitely possible to find balance and peace as you go along.
I think I've achieved the goal of making this video, which is changing my own perspective on seeing this not as a burden, because now I see that others are more receptive and less harsh than I am on myself. And if I'm starting to feel okay about this. It's like the depression thing. If I share this to others, they can relate to one of their medical symptoms or weaknesses, then they will empathize, and there's a beauty in that. And so thanks for allowing me to slowly accept this part of myself. And I want to share, because you mentioned to change my environment to adapt to me, like using tools such as earphones, but this house is rented right now. It's in Kolowan, and I've mentioned it. Those who are close to me knows that I have smoking neighbors that smokes multiple times a day. Their smoke comes into my house through the living room window, which faces their living room window, and through the corridor. People that goes to my house, whenever they go through that corridor, would complain, "Whoa, why does it smell so densely smoked in here?" It's because my neighbors, construction workers, smoke so many times a day that it goes out to the public area. And I've confronted my neighbors about this. I'm saying, could you go down to smoke because it's affecting the public area? And they're just like, nah, we do whatever the fuck we want in our own house. And it's not like you could file a complaint or anything. It's their right to do whatever they want in their private property. It's unlucky. And the journey of finally desperately needing to move houses, we don't say, oh, there's smoke, we just move. No, we tried so many things to solve this. So we bought door shutters at the bottom of the door on Taobao to block out any air pressure that brings the smoke from the corridor that sucks into our living room. That didn't work. We bought air ventilators, 3 of them, each costing 2,000 MOP above, because it's industrial grade. It promises to remove all the chemicals. It's so powerful in its filters, but it didn't work. It sucks in the smoke, and it just does not contain it in its filters, and it seeps out, and I could still smell the smoke. And we have clothes we need to dry when it's raining with a drying machine, and that drying machine sucked the smoke in itself and gave all our clothes a smell of smoke. When I wear my clothes, I smell like a fucking smoker myself. And it's not like you could wash that shit away, because there's so many thousands of chemicals in the smoke particles, the tar that is chemically reacting with the cloth. It buries deep together with the drying, it's like heating up the clothes. It's like trapping it deep in the cloth. Like we have tried buying different detergents or washing powders to get rid of it. It just doesn't go away. We tried soaking it in vinegar, washing it multiple times, baking soda, and finding specific chemicals, like deep seeking how we can fucking solve this. And still all my clothes, after I've moved my house, I've moved that fucking smell with me. This room still smells like smoke at times, and my mouth gets bitter because it's still in the air, the smoke particles. And either I throw away all my clothes and buy new ones, or I find a fucking solution to deeply clean all of this, all the cloth materials, my pillowcase, my bed, the blankets. It's just contaminating everything. And so back to the house, the other things is the AC. It still sucks in air and the smokes get trapped in the filters, and so it emits smoke. So all the fucking machines that are supposed to ventilate are emitting smoke, so we can't use them. And I live on the 6th floor, so it's very noisy. If I open the windows, there's a bus stop down there, and it's traffic pollution comes in if I open the windows. But if I close the windows, there's no source of fresh air. I'm like trapped in my house, in the room that I'm supposed to feel safe, and now it's like infiltrated. It's like a war zone where every night, like the clothes in the wardrobe smells bad, and I can't sleep if it's too noisy if I open the windows, but I also can't sleep if I close the windows and I smell smoke. It bothers me, and I'll open the window again, and this process happens 100 times before I could finally fall asleep. And it's just a stretch of 4 months of not able to fix this problem. Every day I'm preoccupied in trying to find a solution. And I would open my front door at times, counterintuitively, because that's where one of the smoke sources are. But in case of a typhoon, the wind would blow from inside my house back to outside, so it would ventilate away. But it's uncertain. If the wind changes direction, it would blow back the smoke from the corridor to inside the house. Like, there is nothing that I have not tried. I've sprayed my AC with smoke removing spray, and it's useless because there's still smoke in the air. You could clean it once, but it's still contaminated, and the problem re-emerges. I've tried wearing masks. I told you just now it didn't work. I literally do not want to stay in my house. I needed to get out, force myself to go out just to get air. And moving houses is such it's so far, Kolowan. It's like other places also has the smoke smell. It's not like, I feel like my family accommodated me. It's because of me that we had to move houses, and they didn't want to do it, but they acknowledged that in the long term it's not good for their health, even though they could tolerate it. And I was the one that says, no, we have to move. Literally, suggest me something that I have not tried. About the doctor, I have done a check on my allergy to smoke, because I suspect that's what's happening, where I produce mucus every minute when I smell smoke, and specifically smoke. It could be from traffic smoke or the cigarette smoke. Other times I do not have the need to do the it's just you don't feel it. You don't feel a lump. And the doctor gave me a chemical inhaling test, so I had to suck in like some really bitter and toxic gas to test whether my lungs are able to handle it. And it shows my lungs are healthy, my airways are healthy. And like, there's no way. I'm definitely allergic and super sensitive to smoke. And it could be because I'm in a smoke environment for a long time, and it just irritates my nerves for such a long time that they become hypersensitive. But I want a diagnosis, a medication that could relax my airways, maybe like asthma medication. And she's like, oh, maybe this is related to your acid reflux, that it um, could irritate your throat, because I do have some acid reflux problem, but it's definitely not why I have this mucus production. It only happens whenever I smell smoke. It's so specific. And like, what should I do now? Do I consult another doctor? Do I just let this stay and just get rid of the smoke? Like, I could do this simultaneously, but it just feels never ending when you move houses and this problem still exists. Then you become the problem. It's not the environment. That's my biggest concern. Is the environment is neutral, although objectively I would argue it's not natural for us to be living in such a chemically ridden environment. But this is the norm now. And it's always, I'm the common denominator of, if everybody thinks it's fine and I'm the only one that finds a problem, maybe I should fix my fucking body and be more tolerant. But that doesn't work. Like I mentioned, I figured it's like a personality trait. You can't just be less sensitive. Your nerves are not wired this way. It's like, give me some metaphors so I can explain to myself and feel better of how hypersensitivity works. For example, the cold shower example I mentioned. Or if you hear something, I hear it 5 times as loud as you. Like, I not only hear it, like it's a good thing to hear, have sensitive ears, but it bothers me because it hurts my ears and it hurts my sensory system.
Here are a few metaphors that might help. One, sound. Imagine your ears are like a volume knob turned all the way up, so where someone else hears a whisper, it's like a shout to you. 2, light. Think of your eyes as having a brightness setting that's always on maximum, so what feels like normal daylight to someone else might feel blinding to you. 3, smell. Picture your nose as a superpowered sensor where a faint scent is like a strong perfume to you, and something subtle can become overwhelming. 4, temperature. It's like having a thermostat that's set way higher or lower than normal. What might feel comfortably warm to others could feel like extreme heat or cold to you. Hopefully these help paint a clear picture for others.
I do like the metaphor of the volume knob. Like, I'm always turned to maximum. I can't turn it down. And it's closing in on 1 hour, and I feel like I've got really in depth to my struggles living with this. I have so many examples, but if we were to wrap up and you were to say something nice so it could give me more endurance to deal with this problem, or maybe some medical advice or psychoeducation, like just act as a counselor and give me some counseling, man.
Of course. First off, I want to say that your resilience and openness and sharing your experience is truly inspiring. It's not easy living with heightened sensitivity, but your dedication to understanding and coping with it is admirable. Remember, it's okay to seek support and take things one step at a time. Also, finding small adaptations and routines that bring you comfort can make a big difference. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. You're stronger than you know, and every step forward counts. Just be kind to yourself and keep leaning on the support around you. You've got this.
Thank you. Yeah, the self-compassion thing, there are many times I would cry and just feel like I want to protect myself, like I'm under attack and it's overwhelming. And about the coping, I've really tried so many things. I have to try extra than other people, so thank you for noticing that. And about the
Absolutely, it can be
one
tough.
second. I think the reason I wanted to make this video is because I've been bottling this for so long. It feels like learned helplessness, where I solve one problem and there are 100 more problems. It just does not stop. Like when I'm dealing with one sensory issue, something else happens, and I'm just dealing with multiple discomforts at the same time. Sometimes I just want to curl into a ball and cry and just jump into a hole where I have sensory deprivation and not have to deal with this noisy, chaotic world. And I think I've managed to just survive. And like moving house is like a proof that it's not easy, but I'm here, I'm settling, things are gradually improving, although the tides are always against me. I'm still not letting it push me all the way down. Like I'm still actively trying to, although my rate, although it's like a such a big enemy, because it's your personality. I could think of it as that is the price I pay for my intelligence and other good traits. And it's not perfect, so um, there's a funny thing I talked about choosing the downsides of a choice. It's more wise than just focusing on the good sides. It's like picking a house. If you just think of the good things, or like picking a girlfriend of the good traits, you're missing the biggest point, which is the trade-off, the consequence of you have. It comes in package, right? You sacrifice the. You have to deal with the bad things as much, and if you can't deal with the bad things, then you don't deserve the good things, or maybe it's just not worth it. And for this, it's like if you want to be Solomon, if you want to have my good traits, you have to accept the bad as well. And for me, I don't get to choose my genetic disposition. It's like I also don't get to choose my environment. I could try my best to adapt and find a suitable thing. And one day I believe I will. I mean, I'm living in Kalawan. What am I complaining for? It's the best air in Macau. I get access to ventilation and it's less noisy here. It's far away from the urban areas. It's like this is one of the best options I get for these few years. And it comes with the cost for other housing issues that I'm solving. It's like I knew this was part of the deal. So here we are. It's tough, but fuck that shit, yeah.